Hello everybody, how are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous The University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call the show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. Today is Monday, December the 13th, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, how was your weekend? Ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this. No bonus episode this weekend, but I have a bonus story for you, okay? This weekend, I got to take my daughter, my wife. I'm not that big into Christmas, you know. It is what it is, but you know. But my wife, she's big into that. I guess, you know, probably when she was a kid, she wanted to go see Santa every year, yada yada yada, which is cool, great, and everything. So this is the first time in my life that I ever went to the mall to go see Santa Claus. My wife had my daughter. She had her dressed up, put on a little outfit, a little headband, and it was very interesting to be there and to watch. And my daughter, she's a very happy baby, I will say this, but like, if you want to take pictures of this child, it has to be early in the morning or late at night. In the afternoon, she's sort of not the friendliest, you know, when it comes to picture taking, you know. And so, of course, we went there like 4 o'clock, and my wife was like, you know, oh, smile, and doing all this. And as one who's I'm not the most, if you ever walk up on me in real life, I'm animated sometimes, but if I'm out in public, I'm not the most animated person. I'll probably just be all to myself, walking like, you know, kind of off into the world. And so my wife was like, "Come on, do the thing." So I'm standing there, you know, and I'm like, only having a child will make you do this. You're standing there. You want your child to dance, and you're doing all this you're making these goofy faces and these goofy noises, and you're like, "Come on, baby, come on, me, come on, me," you know, and it's very funny, and I just had to laugh, and I was like, out of my body. This is one of those experiences. I'm just like, am I really doing this right now? Is this really going on? This is what we're doing? I'm like, oh well, it's for the baby, and I'm just like, come on. And doing all this nonsense noise, and I'm just like, Jesus, what you would do for children is amazing. You know what I mean? It's just funny. But she gave a half a smile, and then we went and we got her a picture taken from a friend that we know. A friend is starting up a photography business, so we decided to give her some business. And today this morning we got some pictures taken, and at first she was not happy, she was crying, but towards the end she started smiling and grinning, and it's like, you know, it was worth it. And it's just funny what you'll do for you. It's just funny what you'll do for kids, you know. It's amazing, you know. And it's like, what happens, you think, you know, you ever thought about this, you know, like when the baby's a baby, you're like, oh, I'll do anything for the little baby, you know. And I feel like this towards my nephew. Like, I had a nephew. My nephew, he's 19 now. Very lovable kid. Very, you know, I love him to death. I've been there since the day he was born, you know. And when he was a baby, I used to run up and down the steps like a maniac and do all this kind of stuff with him. But then when he got older, I'm like, you all right, kid, you know. I'm like, and then I had to think one day, I'm like, I'm not going to treat my nephew like that. I'm going to do this. We're going to do the same things. Of course, you know, different things, play video games, but I'm going to be involved and as interested in him as I was when he was a baby. You know what I mean? And so it's just one of those things, you know, that it's like one of those life mysteries. It's like, it's amazing what you'll do for a child. It's amazing what you'll do around the child just to make them laugh, just to make them smile. It's very different, you know. And being a father, it makes me, I will say this is besides of course getting married to my wife, but being a father, and I never thought I would say this, but it's probably one of the best things it's one of the best things I would ever do. It doesn't matter about the money, it doesn't matter about any of this, any of that. That alone is like tops, like whenever I see my child happy and excited to be with her mom and her dad, I'm just like, it's all worth it. Everything that my wife went through during the pregnancy and everything, like it's all worth it in these moments. You know what I mean? And so, don't take it for granted. It's not, because I was 42 when I had a child, so that's another thing. Like when you might be like, if you're 25, you might not look at it like I look at it, because I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Because I lived a long time on this earth without trying to be somebody's daddy. You know what I'm saying? And so I've established, I'm a lot more mature than what I was when I was 25. And me myself, honestly, I probably wouldn't have been able to hack it when I was 25, because I was just starting off my new life as a truck driver. So it would have been weird, and I probably would have went 5-10 years just seeing the baby once a month or something like that. So I don't know how that would have worked, but I probably would have made it work. But I'm glad that I have my child now when I had him. And everybody's different, but I just wanted to. I know the story is long-winded, but it's just interesting how if you have a child, or you getting married, or if you have any moments like that in your life, don't take a step back, look at it from out of your, you can look at it, you can go out of your body and you can look at the situation, and you can be like, wow, I'm really doing this. This is amazing, because it's very life changing. I know people like, oh, you're getting married and nothing's going to change, but it's funny. I live with my wife. Me and my wife, we lived together for a while, and we got married, and things did get different. My wife got a lot more, not that I'm saying, I'm not saying that she didn't love me before, but you get, it's a closeness you get when you get married, There's also more of a closeness when you have a baby. There's a bond there, something that you never can, nobody can say, like, no matter what happens, me and my wife, it doesn't matter if we ever break up or anything like that, of course, let's hope not, but there's a bond, there's a respect that I have for her that will always be there. There's a love that will always be there, because I've watched her deliver the baby, and we went 9 months together doing this whole, having a baby thing, and it's beautiful, and it's, relationships are beautiful, and it's like, not to equate it to business or anything like that, but when it comes to the podcast, this is why I like doing the podcast more than, like, I know I gotta do videos and stuff like that, but the podcast, the start of this, the year and a half I've been doing this, it's a bond that I feel with you, no matter if you listen once, you listen twice, it's like, you took the time to download this podcast. You took the time to say, hey, I'm gonna push play. I'm gonna listen to this guy. I'm gonna give him a shot. And it's an intimacy, and there's a sweetness to me doing the podcast. And not to, I'm not blowing smoke up your tail, but there's a sort of closeness that I feel when I do the podcast. It's a feeling when I get done with it. I'm like, I got to do a podcast, and I appreciate things, and I guess I'm just trying to say, when you get older kids, you appreciate things more, and you you have a different perspective on things. Because when I was 20 something, I just took everything for granted, and you always think that you're going to live longer, and you always think that things last forever, but they really don't, because one of my best friends died when he was 40, and so it's like, everything doesn't last forever, but when you get older, you just start you appreciate things more. I appreciate every single thing, and that's also from reading books, and it's also from just trying to change, who I am, and so I appreciate every little thing. Not, it's like today before I went to work, I watched my daughter try carrots for the second time, and I'm like, oh, that's sweet, and I appreciate it. And I was like, I'm gonna enjoy my drive to work, and I enjoy my drive to work, and I'm like, these drives are not gonna be forever because we are going to be a full-time copywriter, in the near future. Hopefully within the next 6 months, but not hopefully, but we will. We'll make this happen, and it's just different, you know what I mean? And so, if I was you, people, whatever you do, I'm not saying you have to look at every bird, you have to watch every tree, but sometimes take a step back, look at things and appreciate them for what they are, everything's not a race, everything's not a competition, everything's not about money, some things are just, it's just let things be, and don't get worried, don't get frustrated if you are not where you want to be. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Take your time, don't get frustrated if you don't get things done that day. You will get them done. Keep your eye on the prize, keep moving forward, and you'll be okay. And just learn to appreciate things. And the more that I've learned to appreciate things, the better things have become in my life. So that is take that, as a life lesson from me to you as a 42-year-old man. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know we went a little long with that. We will take a commercial break, and then we will come back and we will discuss what we have planned for today. All right, people, welcome back. Now, today we are going to discuss something that's important, and it's called, I don't know what it's called, but have you ever had somebody that didn't like you? And have you ever had somebody that, you get around them, you're like, why do they not like me? And first off, sometimes people will not like you just because, and it's very strange, but it just happens that way. And so I'm going to tell you about this movie that I watched this weekend, one of my favorite movies, and talk about people that don't like you and how you can turn them into probably some of your best listeners, some of your best customers. It just happens that way, And they could turn on a dime. You never know. And so I watched this movie. It's called You've Got Mail. It's a very good movie. It's from like 1998. And it's starring the great Tom Hanks and starring Meg Ryan. And this is probably, I think they're like the last movie they did together. They did like 3 romantic movies, but this is probably my favorite one. And it's about 2 people that met online, and it's very in the early stages of online, meeting people online, And so they met online. They don't know each other. They don't give each other details about their lives or anything like that. So they just chat with each other. But in real life, Tom Hanks owns a bookstore. It's called Fox's Books. It's sort of like Barnes and Nobles. So he's a big conglomerate. Think Walmart, think Amazon. She owns a little small bookshop. Think small business. Think you, think me, small business. Think your local hardware store, things like that. And so the big conglomerate moves right across the street from the little charming bookstore. And so they meet in person, and they don't like each other. She doesn't like him, He's like, why you don't like me? And she's like, because you're a big conglomerate, you're trying to shut us down, blah, 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 blah. And so over time, they go from not liking each other. Eventually the big bookstore eats the little bookstore, and eventually in real life they become friends, they become friendly, they start hanging out with each other. And still online, she doesn't know that he's the guy, and he doesn't know that she's the guy, until one day they decide to meet. Then he walks up and he's like, who? And he's like, whoa. And so he doesn't go into the shop. he doesn't go into the shop because he doesn't want her to know that he knows. And so now he has leverage. And so that's a whole nother lesson, you know. And listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wrote a lot of notes for this movie, and I got a lot of ideas about writing different stories and stuff like that. But he finds out who she is, but so he decides he's gonna be friends with her so she can get to know him and get to liking him. And of course, she gets to like him, and eventually, well, as you well know, most romantic movies, they wind up falling in love. But it took 2 hours, took an hour and 45 minutes for the movie, but he turned her into somebody that didn't like him, didn't know him, and didn't like him, into, you know, being a loyal customer, as you would call her. I don't know if you want to call her a loyal customer or a girlfriend, but it doesn't matter. But he turned that ship around. And people, this is gonna be all the time. If you're online, if you are online, if you have a YouTube channel, there's going to be somebody that doesn't like you. It does not matter. They're going to be like, I don't like you because you got black socks, you wear yellow socks, you have yellow shirt. It does not matter the reason why they don't like you. They're going to say, we don't like you, okay? And what you can do, there's different things you can do to get them on your side. And sometimes those might be the best customers you can get, you know, because they're skeptical. Which, nothing wrong with a little healthy skepticism. And so you can get them, if you could turn them around, they'll be your most loyal customers. They'll fight you. They'll fight for you. They'll be out there with your name. Somebody says, you know, Joe Blow ripped me off. And they'll be like, Joe Blow wouldn't rip you off. Roar! And it happens all the time. I used to listen to Howard Stern, and there would be somebody like, I used to hate you, Howard, but now I'm one of your biggest fans, blah, blah, blah. And it happens that way. And there's certain things, and one thing that you can do is never change who you are. That's probably the most important thing I can tell you. Don't pander to people. It does not matter. It does not matter how you feel, what your beliefs are, anything like that. People are not gonna. You could try to kiss everybody's. Excuse my language, but you can try to kiss everybody's ass, you know, if you want. But that's not going to get you anywhere. That will not get you what you are looking for. That will not get you success. You know, trying to be everybody's friend is the kiss of death. Okay, and so it does not matter. Somebody's not going to like you, but what you can do is stick to your guns. You know, if you are one of these people that say, "Hey, man, I don't believe in yada yada yada," and somebody goes, "I don't like you because you don't believe in because you believe in pro-life or whatever," you just say, "Hey, man, this is my belief. This is how I feel. I'm sticking to it." You know, we talked about this one time, doubling down. I don't know, but stick to your guns. You know, nobody likes a wafer. Okay, do not do that. Don't pander to people. And so, if you remember that, stick to your guns. You know, and another thing that you shouldn't do is you should not match their, if somebody's like on a 10 with you, do not go up to the 10, you know, because that's what people are looking for. You just keep talking to them in the same calm manner that you have, and you're like, yeah, hey, you know, this is your problem, not my problem. You know, I don't know what your problem is with me, but this is your problem, okay? This is your issue, you know? And so maybe they will realize that they are being an idiot, and then they will come to your side. But it does not matter. I'm not saying you're looking to convince these people. I'm just giving you a couple of tips that, you know. And so in the movie, you know, she was like, I don't like you because you're Fox Books or whatever. And he's like, hey, what the hell? What am I supposed to do? You know, he's like, hey, we sell discounted books. That's what we do. We're here to help. We're here to save people money. And she's like, you're big, blah, 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 blah. He's like, hey, you have a bookstore. You could do something about it, you know, but it is what they ate up because that's a whole nother story. But she never really did. She didn't have a and not to go off on a tangent, but I will tell you this. The reason why the bookstore got shut down is because she didn't have a loyal following. And so you want to develop loyal customers, okay? You want to develop if you could, I'm not saying you, now the terminology I'm going to use is, having a cult-like following is definitely like something that would be, it's good to have, because that way people will not, you're not running a cult, but you want to have like if you have like a following like that, how like think about Nirvana, okay? You remember Nirvana? It was a rock group. They had like a cult-like following. People used to tell, when I was in high school, people loved Nirvana, man, Kurt Cobain and Dave Grohl, and they're like, oh, this is the best group ever, Teen Spirit, oh man, blah, 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 blah. I bet you right now you go to somebody that's around my age, maybe a little younger, maybe a little older, and you go, hey man, Nirvana, and they be like, oh man, I love those guys, blah 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 blah. And if they told them, hey, they got a concert right now, they whip out the card and buy a ticket, they be like, yeah, I want to go, man, I'm a big fan, blah blah blah. And so, just because somebody doesn't like you does not mean you can't turn them into a customer, into a listener, And it might take time. It might take, you emailing them every day. You might say, hey man, listen to the program. If you don't like me, listen to the program for a week. Then they might actually find that they have something in common with you. A lot of times people don't like you because they just want to assume things about you. And so, like I said, don't pander to people. Stick to your guns. Double down on your guns, actually, sometimes. And show people that it's not me that you had the problem with. It's yourself. You know what I'm saying? And more than likely, you definitely will sway some people into giving you a shot, and you definitely can turn people into some of your best customers. Because you will have the people that, there's like different tiers of people. You have the people that say, hey man, I'm with this guy. I'm with this guy from the beginning. They will buy everything that you offer. Most of the things that you offer, without question, sight unseen, blah, blah, blah. You have the people that will never buy from you. The people that will just be like, nope, I don't care. I don't want nothing. And then you have those people in the middle who they like skeptical about you. They're like, I don't know. But then they can become the A's, and that's what you want. You want more A's than C's, of course, but you want, there's nothing wrong with being a skeptic, because some of these are the people that might actually go harder for you than the people that are with you from the beginning. Because people that are with you from the beginning, they buy the stuff, but they might not tell anybody, They might not be like, hey, this guy's great. But the people that are the skeptics, if they come around, it's sort of like when people are skeptical about COVID-19, and they're like, I don't know about that vaccine, and then they get sick or something like that, and then they take the vaccine, and then they go around telling everybody how they should be vaccinated, and how they're stupid if they don't get vaccinated. But it's like, when you just a skeptic of the vaccine, they're like, oh no, I've been convinced. And so it's sort of like that. And you will get all three. No matter what you sell, you will have all three people. And the trick is, go after the B group, go after the skeptics, because they're always gonna buy. You can say, hey man, I'm selling this, and they be like, oh, I'll buy it again for you. I support. And it's like, that's cool and everything like that. But you want to go after the hard customers, because if the tougher the customers you can get, the more money you will make. Like that's a key, that's a thing you have to think about. It's easy to go after the A's. It's like they're already gonna buy from you, so it's you just don't want to. I'm not saying you alienate the A's. You don't alienate the people they're gonna buy from you automatically, but that's easy fishing. You don't want easy fish. You know, you want the ones who are skeptical. You want the ones that you can convince. Because if you can convince them, you get them to be a part of the community, they will be the loudest voice for you. And the more people you have being a voice for you, the easier it is for you to position yourself. And the easier it is for you to gain a massive following. It's sort of like, if you don't know Russell Brunson, look him up. And you'll see all these clones, you know, and you'll see all these people. He's positioned himself, so he has all these people screaming and yelling for him, you know, and they say, you know, oh, ClickFunnels is the greatest, and they be, you know, and they're like little clones, and they're little like wannabe Russell Brunsons. It's very annoying, but at the same time, it's brilliant. It's like, God, I wish I had somebody. If I could have 5 people go around the world beating this podcast for me, you know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be great, because it got me to thinking. Because this morning I thought, you know, and the reason why I bring this up, the reason why I bring up how you want to gain a following, you want to gain a loyalty, you want to gain a big audience, is because it's not about having 100. It's not about, you know, it's not about the size of it. It's about the loyalty. It's about the following. It's about the people that talk about you, you know. And the more that you can be talked about, the more that you can be out there, you know. It's the better you are able to generate some revenue from advertising, you know. And that's one of the things that you want when it comes to your podcast, when it comes to your YouTube channel. The more ad revenue that you can generate, the better off you will be. I thought about this because the other day, it's a ex-football player. He started a show. His name is Pat McAfee, and I saw he had a big announcement. And he made a deal with this company called FanDuel, and basically he's getting $30 million a year in ad revenue. And it's like, you know, he doesn't have to go out and look for sponsorships. He doesn't have to do anything. He has a deal with FanDuel, you know, and it's like, oh man, that's excellent, you know. And he can build a studio and he can create more content, because he knows for 4 years he has a sponsorship. And the thing he has to do is generate more. You know, he has a following. He has people that share his videos. He has people that shares his content. You know, he has a loyal audience. And before, I remember when he first retired, he's like, I'm finna go do media. And people was like, why is he retiring at the age of 29 from football? Blah, 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 blah. But it paid off for him, you know. And now he has a massive following. He has the loyalty, you know. And I'm sure that he had some people that was probably skeptical. Some people that probably didn't watch football. And they probably like, this guy sucks, you know. But now people are out drumming up, you know. They're like, hey, Pat McAfee, watch his show, watch his show, watch his show. And so that's what you're looking for, you know. And the biggest fans of yours can be the critical ones, the ones that are like, I don't know. Like my parents are my mother. If you can convince her into watching something, then she will go around telling people about it, because she is a very skeptical lady, you know. Like she don't really trust a lot of things, but the stuff that she likes, she talks about, you know what I mean? And so if you can convince somebody like that to being part of your core, then you will be doing all right in life. And so, ladies and gentlemen, go out. Don't shoot for the fish that you know you can get. That's simple stuff. You want the big fish. You want the skeptics. And so, be Joe Fox. Be Tom Hanks. And he convinced this woman hated him in the beginning of the movie. But by the end, guess what? They was at the park with the dog, kissing, hugging, talking about, I'm glad it's you. We're in love, yada, yada, yada. The end. Happy ending, okay? So go after the skeptics, you know. I'm not saying you don't pander. You don't have to pander anybody. Be yourself. Just be yourself. Keep doing what you do. You will get them, you know, eventually. All right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, Hope you enjoyed today's episode of the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow with an all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this show. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Russell Brunson, me. I'm trying to get all the ad money. I'm trying to get more ads. I'm trying to get. Listen. Listen. We're trying to get more sponsors for this show. All right. No, we're not going to throw too many commercials in, okay? But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you for listening. We'll be back tomorrow with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Take care. And as always, everybody, peace.